Good evening, you're watching Mission 2024. Our top story, Sanjay Singh from the Aam Aadmi Party has got bail after spending 6 months in jail. We're going to get you more on that, what it means in terms of legal implications for the Aam Aadmi Party and other leaders in jail. First up, the headlines. AAP Neta Sanjay Singh gets bail after spending 6 months in jail in the alleged liquor gate saga. Singh is the first Aam Aadmi Party Neta to get bail. Delhi Mantri Atishi levels big Operation Lotus charge, says BJP pressurizing her to abandon Arvind Kejriwal and join the BJP. Claims AAP Netas received arrest threats. Prime Minister Modi's big attack on the opposition reiterates pledge to crack down on corruption. Says he wants Bhrashtachar hatao, but opposition wants Bhrashtachar bachao.
मैं कहता हूं भ्रष्टाचार हटाओ, वो कहते हैं भ्रष्टाचारी बचाओ.
Home Minister Amit Shah firefights dissent in Karnataka, but disgruntled Ishwarappa to contest Shivamogga as an independent despite Amit Shah's outreach. India rejects China renaming Arunachal Pradesh, rubbishes China's provocation, says it's a senseless act that will not change reality. Supreme Court cracks the whip on Baba Ramdev's Patanjali, says government working hand in glove with Baba Ramdev refuses to accept his apology and misleading ads. Latest news break coming in. ED heat now mounting on Mahua Moitra. ED has filed a money laundering case against Mahua Moitra based on CBI's FIR pertaining to cash for query case. That's the latest that we are getting in. A case of money laundering has been now lodged by the ED on Mahua Moitra. What is the premise of the case? Cutting across to Shreya Chatterjee joining us live. Shreya, can you get us up to speed on what is the premise of this particular case of money laundering now been lodged against Mahua Moitra?
Preeti, this particular case is regarding the cash for query. Remember, there was an investigation that was initiated after a formal request was made by the Lokpal for the Central Bureau of Investigation to register an FIR. Now, that FIR was registered under criminal conspiracy, but this particular case is under the PMLA that has been registered by the Enforcement Directorate in the cash for query scam. Now, the Enforcement Directorate will be investigating the possibilities of the involvement of routing the proceeds of the crime, if any, in this particular case by the Enforcement Directorate. So, trouble mounting for Mahua Moitra after CBI. Now, ED has also filed a case against her under PMLA in the cash for query case.
All right, a case under PMLA where Mahua Moitra is concerned. What does it mean, Shreya? Would she be now immediately called in for questioning? What could be the protocol next?
Well, absolutely, Preeti. She will be summoned by the agency in all possibility. Remember, earlier last week, she was also called by the agency for a separate investigation, which the agency is doing against her under FEMA. She, during that particular time, had asked the Enforcement Directorate to issue summons to her only after the Lok Sabha elections end. In all likelihood, the Enforcement Directorate may not wait for that. After registering this fresh case, we will in all likelihood see the agency now summoning Mahua Moitra anytime soon.
All right, Shreya, appreciate you joining us. This is a case of PMLA against Mahua Moitra in the cash for query case. We're going to get our viewers more, but quickly shifting focus on to that big relief coming in for Sanjay Singh. As the Aam Aadmi Party MP has been granted bail by the Supreme Court of India in the Liquorgate probe, the Supreme Court bench observed that nothing has been recovered. There is no money trail against Sanjay Singh in the money laundering case. The court, however, said the bail cannot be treated as precedent.
Arrested in October by the Enforcement Directorate, 6 months later, AAP MP Sanjay Singh granted bail in connection with the alleged Delhi liquor scam.
Sanjay Singh has been granted bail because ED did not argue their case at all and conceded on the bail because it was all apparent during the hearing and it was made clear by the judges. Honorable judges has made it clear before lunch that against Sanjay Singh there is no credible material to make a case against him.
The bail order issued by the Supreme Court. A bench of Justices Sanjeev Khanna, Dipankar Datta and Prasanna B. Varale was hearing Sanjay Singh's plea in the excise policy case.
The Enforcement Directorate took a U-turn and decided to grant concession to Singh after the top court asked them to consider if he's needed in further custody. The court said that as a matter of fact, no money has been recovered and the accused turn approver did not name him in the first 9 statements. The court warned ED, if we ultimately decide in favour of Sanjay Singh, we will have to record that prima facie he is not guilty of any money laundering and that may impact the trial. These observations were followed by a twist in the hearing with ED saying that it is not opposing the bail to Sanjay Singh.
AAP welcomed Sanjay Singh's bail.
मुझे लगता है कि आज पूरे देश की लोकतंत्र के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा दिन है, बहुत खुशी का दिन है, बहुत उम्मीद का दिन है कि शायद कुछ लोग अब जेल से बाहर निकल के इस देश के लोकतंत्र को बचा लें.
Meanwhile, BJP slammed AAP, saying now AAP can't accuse agencies of being involved in vendetta politics.
This bail has been granted when ED, as you can see from the proceedings, has not opposed the bail of Sanjay Singh. From today onwards, the Aam Aadmi Party cannot claim, even for a moment, that any of the agencies, particularly the ED or the CBI, is indulging in any kind of vendetta politics. यदि ऐसा होता तो बेल को अपोज किया जाता.
Sanjay Singh has become the first senior AAP leader to be granted regular bail in the money laundering case linked to the liquor policy. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and his former deputy Manish Sisodia remain under judicial custody in the same case. With Srishti Ojha, Bureau Report, India Today.
What does it mean in terms of legal implication for other Aam Aadmi Party leaders who are incarcerated in possibly the same case? The courts today did say that this should not be treated as a precedent, but the Aam Aadmi Party's legal team calls it a big legal win for the other Aam Aadmi Party netas who are behind bars in the Liquorgate probe. Joining me right now is Vikas Singh, former Additional Solicitor General of India and Senior Advocate, Supreme Court. Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court, also with us. Vikas Singh, the first question that I want to ask you, even though the courts today said that there is no precedence, or this will not set a precedence, but what could it legally mean for the Aam Aadmi Party leaders who are in jail in the same case, the likes of Manish Sisodia or even an Arvind Kejriwal?
Well, according to me, the way it is reported that the bail was granted because the ED did not protest. Now, that's a little dangerous because it looks as if ED is controlling the Supreme Court. That's number one. Number two, in such kind of cases, if you see the bail provision, bail should have been granted on day one. And these are not cases, these are all cases where the bail is being denied on the allegation that the person is not cooperating with the investigation. Under Article 20, subclause 3, it's, every individual, every citizen has the fundamental right of remaining silent. So non-cooperation per se can't be a ground for denying bail to somebody. So according to me, these are cases where bail should have been granted from the beginning itself. And it's now that it has been granted in the case of Sanjay Singh, I think that every other AAP leader who has been in jail for this same transaction should also be entitled to get bail as a ground of parity.
Mr. Singh, we're going to come down to that, especially on the observation made on the case of no money found or no money trail. But Sanjay Hegde, I want to get you in on this. There seems to be, a narrative that suggests that the ED did not oppose the bail in court today. Did that actually happen? Because the lawyer did want to argue the case in the beginning and then came back and said that it's a peculiar situation and did not oppose it. What really went down? Can you explain this for our viewers?
Well, what went down was that there was questioning by the court. And in the remarks which have been reported by various legal portals, the judge asked the ED, you've kept him in custody for 6 months. Dinesh Arora had not implicated him initially. Later on in a statement he does, no money has been recovered. The trace of money is not there because it was long back. Fact of the matter is money has not been recovered. And it said that, look, if we make observations under Section 45 of the PMLA, that prima facie no case is made out, then that will affect you in the trial. So basically, the court put the ED lawyers in a spot by some very effective questioning. And that is when the ASG possibly took instructions and came back and said that, look, in this case, please grant bail without making it a precedent. And we concede as far as bail is concerned. So therefore, you don't have to go into the other parts, other questions that you have asked. So the ED basically decided to mitigate the damage it could have suffered to its main case by saying that in this particular case, grant bail. The other cases, we can take individual decisions later whether to fight or not fight. But this is a huge step forward in the case, and I do think that the Delhi government officials who are in custody have some cause to hope.
Okay. I'm going to come back to you, Sanjay Hegde. I want to pull in Vikas Singh back into this conversation. Vikas Singh, even though there would be, what would be the legal implications? Because the Supreme Court said very clearly that this will not set precedents. But in the same time, quote unquote, the Supreme Court said that the fact of the matter is that there was no money recovered. What does it actually mean for the Aam Aadmi Party and those leaders who are still inside jail in the same case where the money trail constantly keeps coming up?
Well, I don't understand what is the significance of saying it's not a precedent. Every case is a case by itself. It can't be cited. It can only be cited as a matter of precedent if it's laying down some rule of law. So granting bail to Sanjay Singh per se can't be a precedent. But if there is no money trail found, that is something which will be common to all. That can't be said to be exclusive to Sanjay Singh. So whoever are having the same kind of factual scenarios should be able to get bail by virtue of parity only. Although, as I said earlier, they were not. They should have been granted bail in the very first instance. They should not be put behind bars. It's a different matter to keep somebody inside jail after conviction, because after conviction everybody is the same. Every person is the same as far as law is concerned. But as a arrest prior to conviction or during the trial process, I think these were not cases where arrest should have taken place at all.
Okay, Sanjay Hegde, I want to get back to the question because, yes, Sanjay Singh was given bail by the top court today. But in the same case, you have a Manish Sisodia who's gone to court thrice over the Supreme Court and bail has been denied all three times over for Manish Sisodia. So how can one equate both the cases and say it could again be possible for a Manish Sisodia or in this case an Arvind Kejriwal?
See, in Manish Sisodia's case, there's a judgment of the Supreme Court denying him bail, but saying that please finish the trial within 6 months. And if that doesn't happen, that Manish is free to approach the courts below for bail again. So I do suspect that his team will begin now asking for bail. And if the courts, the trial court as well as the High Court, ask the same kind of questions that the Supreme Court asked today, I dare say that the ED will probably have the same kind of response.
Sanjay Singh will right. Go ahead, sir. Make your point.
It does look to me that the inherent weaknesses of the case, when faced with continual forensic examination at the hands of judges, they will reveal themselves. So it may possibly be that taking a cue from what has happened in the Supreme Court today, bail may be granted by the courts, by the trial court or the High Court.
Because till now, Vikas Singh, one thing was seemingly like very familiar in all the cases where the trial courts or the High Court completely denied bail. Now, Arvind Kejriwal has not approached any of the courts for bail. Do you see him getting bail from the trial courts, keeping in mind the strong observations?
So, unless they are able to establish the money trail, of who gave the money and who received the money, and why it can be said to be a receipt on behalf of the political party, I don't understand how this will help the prosecution. So it is their job to, prove the guilt of the accused. It is not the job of the accused to prove his innocence, because that's the law of the land. So everybody has to be presumed to be innocent till proved to be guilty. So I think this will definitely impact the trial of this case in the long run.
All right. Sanjay Hegde, coming for the last question to you, sir. The same question I ask you. In the case of, say, an Arvind Kejriwal who hasn't approached the trial court, because if he goes to the Supreme Court, what is at least, let me quote precedence here. The court will always now, ultimately say, go back to the trial courts and come back to, and go that course. Do you see that happening in the same case where Arvind Kejriwal is concerned?
Yes, obviously, because now he has been sent to judicial custody. The ED has said that we may want his custody later. But I think that he will approach very fast for bail to the trial court. And let's not go into too much forecasting there. But the impact of what has happened in the Supreme Court today may very well likely be felt in the trial court, even in Arvind Kejriwal's case.
All right, Sanjay Hegde and Vikas Singh, appreciate both of you for joining us. We're going to keep a keen eye on all developments that take place. Where Sanjay Singh is concerned, he's going to be out on bail, viewers, tomorrow.